Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Western media's repeated attempt to force a headline from Donald Trump on the Citizenship Amendment Act has fallen completely flat. Not once, not twice, but 3 times during the 44-minute media interaction that he did today, the usual suspects used the same words and asked the same questions only to be met with Donald Trump's repeated praise for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So the ones who spread fake news on Kashmir to defame India globally should now see the writing on the wall, I think. Let's debate.
If it was showcasing India's soft power on day one,
Namaste Trump! Namaste Trump! Namaste Trump! Namaste Trump! Namaste Trump! Namaste Trump!
on day two, it was all about hard diplomacy, tough negotiations, and big bang defense deals.
We expanded our defense cooperation with agreements for India to purchase more than $3 billion of advanced American military equipment, including Apache and MH-60 Romeo helicopters, the finest in the world.
But all eyes were on US President Donald J. Trump's press interaction, and he began it in his own style.
It was a great 2 days. It was a fantastic 2 days. I'm going to be not at all controversial because I don't want to blow the 2 days plus 2 days of travel on one answer, one little answer like John will ask me one little simple question and you'll blow it out and that'll be the end of the trip. They won't even talk about the trips. I'll be very, very conservative in my answers if you don't mind.
A snub to the Western media from the very start, especially those on a mission to slander India. They definitely didn't like this.
This is a tremendous country. It's 1.4 billion, probably at least the most people. And it's a tremendous market, and they really like us, and I think they like us more now than they've ever liked us, frankly. We have a terrific, a really great relationship between the Prime Minister and myself. So we're going to be doing a lot of things. I think it was really, really worth it.
And then began the Q&A session.
With that, I think what we'll do is take some questions and we'll go to a nice state dinner and then we go home.
The fourth and fifth question on what Donald Trump has been talking about, countering a radical Islamic threat, and the US president minced no words.
Mr. President, namaste. I'm Saurabh Shukla. I'm editor-in-chief of News Mobile. If you remember, I interviewed you during your last campaign in New Jersey.
Good.
And I asked you this question earlier at that time about a Trump doctrine on fighting out Islamic fundamentalism, which you spoke about and you discussed with Prime Minister Modi, and you spoke about the Modi-Trump doctrine. So what is your roadmap to fight out Islamic radical terrorism?
Well, I don't think anybody's done more than I have, if you look, because I came in and if you check your maps and look at Iraq and Syria, it was all over. In fact, they had it painted a certain color. I won't tell you what color because it doesn't matter. Somebody will say it was a Republican color, so I don't want to get people confused. But it happened to be red, and it was basically trying to show where ISIS was in those areas. And it was out of control. And I gave the orders, and we have 100% of the caliphate. We have tens of thousands of people in prisons now. They're being guarded by the Kurds and others. Europe should take a lot of them back. So far, they haven't agreed to do that. They should do that because we did them a big favor. We captured them, but I did that. We killed al-Baghdadi a few months ago, and Soleimani is gone. He's no longer putting roadside bombs all over the place. Somebody else may be, but he was the father, the king of the roadside bomb. All of those young people that you see with missing legs and arms. I've seen every combination. The legs are gone. You go over to Walter Reed. I have to say the doctors at Walter Reed are incredible what they're able to do. Incredible. But that's what his thing was. He thought that was a beautiful weapon. Roadside bombs. It's a coward's bomb. And all of these young people that have been so badly hurt. And we did a big favor. In addition to that, as you know, Hamza bin Laden is now gone, and he was looking to do damage, and he's gone. And Al-Qaeda last week. You saw what happened there.
Absolutely.
So nobody's done more than what I've done. And but at the same time, Russia should do it, Iran should do it, Iraq should do it, Syria should do it. You know, we're in a different part of the world. We're doing it. Everybody says you're the only ones that can do it. Well, at some point, these other countries, Iran should do it. Iran hates ISIS, and they should do it. And we've done a great job. We've taken our soldiers essentially out of Syria, except for little hot spots that we forget, will do, that develop. But we've taken the oil, and the soldiers we have there are the ones guarding the oil. We have the oil. So that's all we have there. And now we have, if you look, we are down to a small force in Iraq. And we're down to a small force very shortly, but right now even we have a small force in Afghanistan. And so we're moving out and moving around. But the only soldiers we have in terms of Syria, the predominant number of soldiers are the ones guarding the oil.
What about terror groups in Pakistan, sir? That's a big concern in this region, and there are a lot of terror groups who pose dangers to the United States and democracies like India as well.
Yeah, no, I agree, but you also have other countries that can do this. The United States is 8,000 miles away, and they're all saying, could you do it? Yeah, we could do it. We've been doing it for a long time, but I've been doing it much better than anyone else has done it. I mean, what we've done in the last couple of years has been incredible. We have 100% of the caliphate. Remember, we had 99%. I'd say, good, we're leaving. And I was hit with, people couldn't believe it. They said, do 100. So we did 100. I did 100 with some great generals that knew exactly what they were doing. They were unbelievable. We took 100% of the caliphate. And we have thousands of prisoners right now locked up. And these are ISIS fighters and killed thousands. Not that I want to do that. I don't want to do that. But that's what we had to do. And when I came in, ISIS was all over the place. It was totally out of control.
The sixth question from members of the Western media, calling violence in Northeast Delhi religious violence, and here's how the US president responded.
While you've been here in the country, in the capital, northeast part of Delhi, there have been violent clashes. Police have been killed, some demonstrators, 9 deaths so far, we hear, and about 100 plus injured. What did Prime Minister Modi say to you about this amended citizenship law? And how concerned are you about this kind of religious violence?
So we did talk about religious freedom, and I will say that the Prime Minister was incredible on what he told me. He wants people to have religious freedom, and very strongly. And he said that in India they have worked very hard to have great and open religious freedom. And if you look back and look at what's going on relative to other places especially, but they have really worked hard on religious freedom. I asked that question in front of a very large group of people today, and he talked about it. We talked about it for a long time, and I really believe that's what he wants. As far as the individual attack, I heard about it, but I didn't discuss that with him. That's up to India.
7 questions later, a question on Pakistan and cross-border terrorism. Donald Trump said, Modi will deal with it.
Mr. President, I am Akhilesh Suman. I am from Rajya Sabha Television. It's a parliamentary channel of India, upper house, like you've seen it.
Good.
India's concern is with neighborhood. And even Prime Minister Modi tell that you are very good friends. What is your strategy about terrorism that is coming out from Pakistan to India? Because we have been suffering from this type of terrorism for the last 20 years or so. What is your strategy? What are you going to do?
We talked a lot about Pakistan. I have a very good relationship with Prime Minister Khan, very good. We talked about it today at length, actually, and Prime Minister Modi. And it's no question it's a problem, but it's a problem they're working on it. India is, it's a brave nation too. There's no pullback from India. And we just hope, and I said I'll help, I'll do whatever I have to do if I can do that, because my relationship with both gentlemen is so good. But there has been difficulty in Pakistan, and we're seeing what we can do about it. Anything I can do to mediate, anything I can do to help, I would do. They're working on Kashmir. Kashmir has been a thorn in a lot of people's sides for a long time. And there are 2 sides to every story, but they've been working on that very hard. We discussed it at great length, terrorism. And I think we have some very good ideas. He's very, very strongly against terrorism. I'll tell you, Prime Minister Modi is a very religious man, as you know. He's a very calm man, but he's actually a very, very strong person, very tough, actually. When I've seen him in action, and he's got that foremost in his mind, terrorism. He'll take care of it.
Once again, the attempt to push the CAA question met with a snub.
My question is that you said at the time of the Article 370 abrogation that you would like to mediate in Kashmir, but India rejected it.
No, I'd like to be able to. No, excuse me.
My question.
Wait. I didn't say that. I didn't say anything about that. I just said Kashmir, obviously, there's a big problem between Pakistan and India. And I think they're going to work out their problem, but I will say they've been doing it for a long time.
Okay, my question is something different at the moment. What is your position at the moment on India's Citizen Amendment Act at the moment?
I don't want to discuss that. I want to leave that to India, and hopefully they're going to make the right decision for the people. That's really up to India.
The BBC too did as expected.
Ali Maqbool from BBC. There were some back home that were hoping you would raise concerns about some of these policies that Prime Minister Modi has introduced that discriminate against Muslims, and also about a rise in hate crimes here in India. But as someone
Well, we did discuss that, and we discussed that, and specifically Muslims, and we also discussed Christians.
But someone
and I had a very powerful answer from the Prime Minister. We talked about religious liberty for a long period of time in front of a lot of people, and I had a very, very powerful answer. And as far as Muslims are concerned, as he told me, I guess they have 200 million Muslims in India, and a fairly short while ago they had 14 million. And he said that they're working very closely with the Muslim community.
But so you yourself have been criticized for policies that have discriminated against Muslims, like the travel ban. There's also been a rise in hate crimes over the last couple of years in the US. So are you in a position to talk to him about those subjects?
Yeah, I won the travel ban, as you probably know. A lot of people said I lost it. No, I won the travel ban, and we use the travel ban where we think there's, not based on religion, but where we think there's going to be trouble, where we're looking at certain countries. As you know, we added a few countries onto it. But we won the travel ban, and we won it in the Supreme Court. So the travel ban is not a thing against Muslims. It's a thing against areas where we don't want people coming into our country that are going to cause problems, cause harm, cause death, hurt our people. And I feel very strongly about that. Okay, please, go ahead.
The Western media's attempt to slander India has fallen flat. We wonder what the headlines will now look like in their publications. Let's debate.
I would say to them, well tried. What would you say, Anand, to them? You were at the press conference as well, Saurabh, today. I would say to the Western media and its parasitic sycophants here in India, they're well tried. You know, they really, really worked very hard. Abhishek is with me here in the studio. He was there at the press conference. They worked very hard to get that one little headline they could have used, right?
Well,
but they didn't get it.
Almost a concerted attempt to provoke Trump.
They failed. What is the headline that, in your view, they wanted? You were there.
Well, they would have wanted Trump to, kind of pan the Modi administration in some manner. But the fact that Trump expected that's why he began the press conference by saying that I don't want to get into any controversy and I don't want to spoil my trip. And then he spoke his mind on everything, Arnab, including CAA, on which he said that he has spoken in detail with the Prime Minister and that there is religious freedom in India, and he's convinced that Prime Minister Modi is able to handle this.
Yeah, and he kept saying that, this is this whole anti-Muslim narrative that they tried, when he was asked by a reporter about how the Prime Minister is discriminating against the Muslims and rise in hate crimes in India. This was a media that was really, I think, what would I say, sort of itching for an anti-India headline. That would work to cut to size the enormity of this entire trip. So you would have that headline, and then Trump said that, yes, we spoke about it. And he said we spoke about it before a lot of people. But more importantly, Saurabh, he said that he got a very powerful answer.
Yes.
And the powerful answer, he said, was that there are 200 million Muslims in India. It's as powerful an answer which spoke against the concerted lie about the disenfranchising of 200 million Muslims. I think that really put everyone in their place. I think the straightforwardness of what Trump said there about radical Islamic terror, about CAA, really took this lobby by surprise. Saurabh, you were there. You were there, Saurabh.
Yes, Arnab, absolutely. I was there and I asked him a pointed question on terrorism, which he responded to, and I asked about Pakistan-sponsored terrorism, which he also said he agreed that it posed dangers to democracies like the US and India. Clearly, he was very, very clear that he's not going to meddle into India's internal affairs, and this is what should silence all those people who are trying to raise the bogey that, oh, the world is against this, and this is something that the Indian government has been doing, which is against the wishes of the people. No, that's not correct. And here is, a global leader, somebody
whether he's aware of the name.
Sanjeev. I said Sanjeev on the.
Let me complete, sir. Let me complete. Please hear me out. Have the patience to hear me out, and then you talk, please. Okay. So the idea is, when Prime Minister Modi told him that there are 200 million Muslims, there is another thing that was also told to the US President, that Prime Minister of India will take care of these Muslims who are Indian citizens. Every Indian is the responsibility of the Prime Minister of India. That's what was told to the US President. That's the reason what he mentioned at the press conference. That's the context that you must hear. And you must understand that this is not somebody who's trying to discriminate. This is, in fact, these riots have been fueled because Donald Trump was here as well. Don't you get this whole pattern that is emerging? That they wanted to malign India, they wanted to damage India's interests, and that's the reason why some of the people today thought that they will try to put words into Donald Trump's mouth as well, which he did not take the bait. He was very clear. So the message is loud and clear that world supports India's, India's action.
And one day before Trump comes to India,
I want to understand.
A huge mob to
I want to understand from you,
and he says that
I want to understand from Sushant Sareen and Sanjeev Srivastava tonight that this genuflecting attitude, where you are looking silly today. I was very amused, Sushant, at the desperation. They really wanted to get a headline. They did not even think about the fact that there is something called the Supreme Court of India. And when the matter of the CA is under the consideration of the Supreme Court, approved by the parliamentary process of India, you take it to a visiting foreign president, and he says, listen, I don't want to discuss that. I want to leave that to India. As straightforward as reply as possible. But they really tried hard.
He also said he's a very good
Sushant Sareen, yes please, Sushant.
He's also a very good friend of Imran Khan.
Yeah, this
the very person.
Different context.
But can he keep quiet? How can anybody have a conversation?
Yeah, these are pictures of Donald Trump taking off at the airport.
I don't think those people wanted. They didn't want a headline. What they wanted was something to humiliate India and something to humiliate Mr. Modi with. They didn't get that. I think so. There would be a lot of heartburn which Mr. Trump would have caused today. The second thing is, I can bet you anything that the guy who asked that question on CAA, I think it was the BBC fellow, quite predictably, it had to be BBC, who asked this question. I can bet he has not read the law. At ORF, there were 15 or 16 British journalists who came, and they were quite, agitated about the CAA. And a colleague of mine asked them how many of them had actually read the law. Not one of them, who were all agitated about this whole thing, not one of them had read the law. They just assume that citizenship bracket amendment bill means that we have amended the way people are going to be treated as citizens in this country, and a lot of people's citizenship is being snatched. They are that stupid that they didn't even bother to read the act. So the point is that this guy who asked this question from President Trump had obviously not read the law, and if he had read it, obviously it was in English, but perhaps British don't understand English anymore, and he didn't understand what was written in the law. Because there is nothing in the law which takes away anybody's citizenship. There is no discrimination in the law. You are only fast-tracking somebody's citizenship, stuff which the Americans have themselves brought into their own country. Those laws they have passed. So there was nothing in the CAA, and I think by Trump taking the position that he is confident Mr. Modi will do the right thing, I think that kind of really takes the, punches the balloon which many of these fellows had built up. On the Kashmir question, the question was put to him on Article 370. He completely ignored 370 as though that was not an issue. But he agreed that there was an issue of Kashmir between India and Pakistan. But at the end of it, he said, look, if you want me to come into it, I'll come into it. Otherwise, I think you guys can handle it on your own. So Kashmir went out of the window. Right, on Pakistan, he said, look, again, I'm good friends with both people. If you want, I can do something. Otherwise, I think on terrorism, Mr. Modi is a tough guy. He'll handle it himself. He pretty much gave you a carte blanche to do what you need to do insofar as terrorism is concerned. The one thing which I think he was very clear about is the fact that when I think it was Saurav's question when he asked him about terrorism, he actually was talking about the Middle East, but I think that applies to this region as well. That, well, yes, there can be cooperation on the issue of terrorism. The Americans feel very strongly about the issue of terrorism, but they're not going to come and fight somebody else's war for them. So essentially, if you add what he said about Modi being tough on terrorism,
but
and the Americans not coming in to do it, he said that you guys do it yourself. I don't have any problem what you're going to do about it.
But Sushant, I want to give just a slightly longish response before I get Rajiv Desai onto the debate right now with Saurabh as well, and of course with Tom Vadakan. That I think what must hurt tonight immensely is the fact that this same opposition, Anand Ranganathan, this Congress, Vadra Congress, this incompetent dynastic burden of a family on the Indian political system called the Vadra Nehrus, this bunch must be burning and seething tonight that Narendra Modi, the same Narendra Modi who they work so hard to deny an American visa, to meet the same Narendra Modi, the American president, one of the most powerful American presidents in a long time, likely to get another term, flies down from Washington to spend a day with the same Narendra Modi, praises him to the skies. Right? And the comparison must be stark, Anand, with the pusillanimous Manmohan Singh who cowered at the feet of George W. Bush and said, the people of India love you. The utter incompetence of their administration, the utter incompetence of the Mahatma Gandhi family as opposed to the strength of Narendra Modi's diplomacy. And the question is to Rajiv Desai and Anand, not to you, Anurindam. I mentioned Rajiv. The utter incompetence of this one family and this one dying party called the Congress Party. Today they are looking defeated.
Arnab, the fact
and they're sulking. Oh, why was Sonia Gandhi not called to Rashtrapati Bhavan? Because she's irrelevant. You understand that?
Congress doesn't need an
That's what he says.
It needs an articulated lorry of Bernal. The memes go, you have articulated lorries of Bernals going one way. The Congress needs Bernals today. I'll give you 3 reasons why. For the first time in a very long time,
tell Rajiv Desai.
The president
name Rajiv Desai and respond to it.
Not preachy. If you remember, even Obama was preaching about religious freedom and hate crimes right when he knew that in the first 4 years of Obama presidency, there were 1.1 million hate crimes. So the hypocrisy wasn't there when Trump was speaking. And I dare say, Mr. Trump rebutted on Narendra Modi's behalf all these fellows who've been going on for the last 6 years saying emergency is here and, intolerance is here. He rebutted better than Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi probably hasn't rebutted even now. He keeps his silence. But Trump rebutted. And rebutted wonderfully well. Because the fact of the matter is, there has been no situation No situation like the emergency, no rising intolerance, nothing of the sort of the preferential hate crimes that these guys have been crying about for the last 6 years, right from the fake church attacks of 2014-15, if you remember. So they have tried their very best. And of course, in the last 2 days, they were trying their very best to disrupt, and get, as Sushant said, get 1 or 2 statements that they will then, poke Narendra Modi with for the next 1 week. They haven't got it. They must be seething.
You see, they haven't got it. And today, unfortunately, Sanjeev and Rajiv, I can look at you, Rajiv, and I can pretty much empathize. You look so downcast. But this was an inevitability. It has come to a right royal end. You do understand this, that Narendra Modi today stands tall among perhaps the most respected global leaders, like it or not.
The question
you tried hard. Anirban, that was to Rajiv. I'm addressing him by name. I'm addressing him by name. I'm saying all you people tried divider-in-chief, Hindu nationalist.
To not answer,
and what does Trump say? He says Prime Minister Narendra Modi is incredible. He wants people to have religious freedom around him. He's a tough person. I've seen him in action. And it is foremost on his mind. He will take care of it.
Trump was here to sell their product.
Just 1 minute,
Mr. Modi was here to mediate the deal.
Rajiv is on right now. Rajiv and Anand. Thank you. Rajiv, do you have anything to say? You look so disheartened today. It's all right. Don't. You're like going to break out in tears. All these websites.
I'm a votary. Yes. No, shut up, Arnab, let me talk. Arnab, shut up and let me talk. I'm a great votary of closer Indo-US relations.
You're on the edge today, Rajiv. You're really on the edge. But let me tell you, we're not responsible for your being on the edge.
I'm not. I've just come.
You're on the edge.
Your coordinator hounded me to come on the show. I've just come back from a 15 days.
Yeah, but you're looking on the edge
of Delhi.
Yes.
And it's your show. I came on.
Yeah, but you're looking on the brink. You seem very unhappy at this Trump visit. Why?
Heckle me, Arnab. Don't heckle me. Don't heckle me. First of all, I'm a votary of closer Indo-US relations. And on that score, it's great that Trump came here, and it's great that all this stuff has happened. But on my concern has always been the competence.
Why didn't Manmohan Singh attend the dinner tonight?
13 people are dead. In the capital city, 13 people are dead in the capital tonight. The police weren't able to stop it. The police are responsible for it. They answer to the
police weren't able to stop it? Please do not. Don't you dare. Don't you dare put unuterables on the program. The police have been killed, damn it. What are you talking about?
In the capital city,
13 people were killed by anti-CA protesters, and one of the 13 was a police head constable. You should be ashamed of yourself for trying to link it to this. You want to feed off the violence. It won't work.
Incompetence of this
I think I wasted my time asking you that question.
While the US president is visiting, 13 people are killed, and the police who report to the Home Minister are unable to prevent it. This is an indictment of the competence of this government, and no matter what Trump may have said, what BBC may have said, this is the message that's gone out, that while our president was in India, there was a law and order problem. There was a riot. 13 people were killed. The Delhi police couldn't stop it, and the Delhi police report to the Home Ministry.
You are bitter about the visit.
That means this.
You are bitter about the visit.
Completely incompetent.
Admit it. You are bitter about the visit. You are bitter about the expanded defense cooperation. You are bitter about the stand on radical Islamic terror, and Tom is on the debate.
You are trying to make
I think you're being so superficial today that I will be wasting my time to be giving you a platform. I'm asking you a serious question. You're going on and on. A long question is not always right. Why the Awad is on the debate. Tom Badakan is responding. Tom is on the debate. Tom, please come in.
The Delhi police cannot prevent it. The Delhi police report to the Home Ministry. This is happening with the President of the United States.
There was a minute.
Thank you. You said it for the 9th time.
Arnab, as soon as the Air Force One landed in Ahmedabad, couple of hours before that, as if it was minute-to-minute planning, there was an attack in Gujarat. Now, that did not catch the Kodak moment expected. then it was planned in such a way that after the president arrives, these characters choreographed a minute-to-minute program, and the cost is 13 dead bodies, which includes a DCP police who has been injured and is seriously ill. There is an ACP police and one martyr whose body has been shifted to his hometown. And we are talking about a basic plot which has flopped. And flopped why? Because they wanted to convince the world, because the international media was here to draw an attention on this movement from the protest movement, and they created a situation where it will get reported. But let me tell you, I congratulate the American president who saw through the game, and the opening statement he made is remarkable, Arnab. He made it very clear that they wanted to create a situation where this historical trip was undermined, and that was the plot. He saw through it, and he gave them a fitting reply. And today we have all the documentation, all the replies in public domain. I have nothing to add on this subject.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no more hope for you. In fact, if you want to talk about this, Sanjeev, what we must talk about is about the entire section of the Indian media which stands there as very useful assistants to the BBC, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. You know, Indian journalists who behave like interns when they are in the company of people from these organizations. People whose entire life is spent with that one word of praise from a Western media outlet, who lack, I would say, a sense of self-significance. A lack of, they lack, what would I say, what's the appropriate word for it, Anand? A sense of self-worth. Yes. You know, unless they get the ratification of that
white man's burden.
Crumbling relic called the Foreign Correspondents Club. You know, there is, in a growing India, in a Naya Bharat, these people have become perfect relics.
Through with your psychoanalysis, if you want me to come in, I'll come in.
No, I'm not psychoanalysis. There's no need for psychoanalysis here. It's evident to everyone. You want me to put out the question to the viewers tonight, Anand? Should we ask them? How many people believe that there is a section of the Indian media which behaves like cub reporters?
Just here to listen to everyone
before the Western media outlets, and they failed today. They failed today because you see, Sanjeev, I'll tell you one thing. They have become utterly predictable. The
Sanjeev,
attempt
the
to
BBC
get
disappointed today, I must say. You would have done a much better job.
Or a India versus Muslims headline did not work. Yeah, but did it work? Was there an attempt made? Just answer a question.
Can I not
answer a question. Was there an attempt made at getting a headline on India versus Muslims?
Can I speak?
Or on CA? Was there an attempt, genuine, honest attempt made or not? No. You answer my question. See, you may want to make your statement, but I am interested in whether you will answer my question. What was my question? My question was that were the same usual suspects clamoring like spiders for a CAA, India versus Muslims headline or not? And in doing so, let me ask you, are they doing a professional job?
I think
are they unhappy about the American stand on radical Islamic terror? Would they report upon the expanded defense cooperation?
See,
I am repeating the question for the nth time so that you give me a one answer. And we are all waiting now, all years, to see whether you answer.
Yes, I will give you the answer. I will give you the answer, Arnab. See, the US president started his press conference by saying that he does not want to spoil his 4-day effort of travel and the Indian visit by giving a statement which will be, then the media can run with it and completely dampen the spirit of his trip, which was very positive. So he did not get into that trap. He did not, he gave a clean
so it was a trap. Thank you. So thank you, Sanjeev. Sanjeev acknowledges on the debate tonight. Did you hear that, Saurabh?
No,
but you said he did not fall into that trap. I'm sorry, but your words were, he did not fall into that trap. What was the trap? Kindly elaborate. No. It's a massive admission by you that the president did not fall into the trap set for him by the Latvian media. Saurabh, we want to know what was the trap.
Allow me to complete.
No, but you said it was a trap.
Allow me to complete.
Did I use the word?
Allow me to complete.
Saurabh, did I use the word or did Sanjeev use the word trap?
Sanjeev is a senior.
That's very. No, I don't have to do any psychoanalysis.
Now that he's admitted it, now that he's admitted it, it's better that he should talk about the trap.
I'll get up.
Yeah, sure, Sanjeev.
I'll get up. You know, this is
no, don't get up, Sanjeev. Come on, you've admitted something.
If you can give everybody and his uncle 2 minutes for saying parroting nonsense, and you won't give me my 20 seconds also. Allow me to complete.
Well, listen.
What we are
Sanjeev,
all forgetting is
that's not good. That's not good. You're branding everybody as saying that we are parroting nonsense and you are epitome of wisdom. No, that's not good. Come on, Sanjeev, that's not good. You're slamming every other panelist by saying
two of your questions and answers and listen to you twice over. Allow others to have a say, please. I am just saying allow others to have their say.
No, come on.
What we should not forget.
No, allow, but you should be gracious enough not to make uncharitable remarks against fellow panelists. I'm sorry, don't do that.
Okay, Saurabh. Okay. I didn't intend it that way. You also know it, Saurabh. So, but what we should not forget while gloating over the fact that President Trump did not give anti-Modi lobby a satisfactory headline, but we should not forget that President Trump, by his own admission, talked in great detail about religious freedom, minorities, CAA, in his exchange, in his meeting with the Prime Minister, period.
Okay, you made the comment. Now, I have just one question. Sorry to be a little persistent about it. I must ask you, Sanjeev, in that rare slip, you did say that the Latvian media, along with, the Boring Broadcasting Corporation, etc., that they set up a trap. Kindly explain to me.
That you are saying.
I'm very curious to know what was. No. I'm not referring to any extant organization. I'm saying Boring Broadcasting Corporation is a general metaphor for antediluvian organizations supported by the government who are well past their prime. I'm now asking you a question. You mentioned a trap. I need to know as a journalist how do they set a trap? No, I need to know. You said Trump did not fall into a trap.
I'm not responsible.
No, you said Trump did not fall into a trap. What was the? Is it the job? Is it the job of journalists to set a trap? You said Trump did not fall into a trap.
No.
So what was the trap? And who were you setting the trap on behalf of?
The context right.
Tom, I'm asking the question on the trap.
Arnab,
context.
The context.
Context to setting a trap.
I'm answering you. I'm answering
context. You. Awad has been a journalist for long. He's horrified tonight. He's represented Al Arabiya in a long time. No, tell me one thing. Do people set a trap? So we said tonight we set a trap. I asked you tonight, you say you set a trap. What do you want to set a trap for?
Let me...
No, I'm asking you. You are avoiding my question. I'm repeating the question. What is the trap being set for? No, you are not, but you obviously analyzed them and said they set up a trap, but Trump decided not to fall into the trap.
Yeah, if you want me to answer, you want me to just listen to you. You want me to answer? I'm just saying the president.
No, I'm asking a question, Sanjeev. I will keep repeating it.
With a headline which
I am asking you the question repeatedly.
What?
I am asking you. The question was about a trap.
What is the question?
And I'm asking you the question on it. What was the trap about? Tell me. What was the trap? You set up a trap
was
for the American president.
If you now allow me to complete.
Okay. Yes, tell me. Yeah, please.
For the American president, there may be journalists there who were wanting an unsavory headline and comment from him on CAA, on the issue of religious freedom, and the president...
Oh, there's a second admission. Saurabh, you see it now. Now he says it further, viewers. 1 minute. This is the thing.
Yes.
No. 1 minute. I didn't say it. You did it a second time, Saurabh. Now he says There are journalists who want an unsavory headline. I repeat the words used by Sanjeev Srivastava, not me. 1 minute. He says there are journalists who want an unsavory headline from Trump on CAA. Incredible. This is how you think. You will not talk about the defense cooperation, the trade deal, the 5G networks, the infrastructure deal, the pipe gas, the sea routes, the financial cooperation. You want an unsavory headline. This is
I don't want
It's not for negative or positive. Listen, every journalist has a right to look for a news point. Every journalist has a right for a news point. But
Arnab,
if you come into a press conference saying, I want an anti-India headline, what did you say? No, 1 minute. Sanjeev, listen. You come to my debates or don't come is not the issue.
No.
I am repeating what you said. If you feel cornered by the weight of your own words, it's not my problem. The question is this. It was said right now on the program, no words put in anyone's mouth. I repeat, the words were said here that some people wanted an unsavory headline, which is what I've always believed. Anand, you want an anti-India headline from the visiting American president. Now put this in together with the fact that right when the American president comes, they try to spark riots in Jafrabad.
Are you denying the fact that today India stands divided on CAA?
It's a giveaway.
Are you denying the fact that India stands divided on CAA?
Absolutely not. Absolutely, it's India versus the mob. You may be divided. You're
against CAA.
Anand is on the debate. Anand is on the debate right now, taking on Sanjeev, both of them.
That's the fact. Don't you see all the protests and all the mayhem and all the violence in the country?
I think
do you think we are all united on CAA?
What happened?
Do you think we are all united on CAA? I don't know what is your problem, Arnab. I really don't know what is your problem.
Please don't do that.
Watch Donald Trump.
No.
Just Sanjeev, if I can.
Yes.
I'm quiet, Baba.
Hello. This silence is killing me.
Go on, Anand. He's quiet.
Arnab, can I please have my say?
So is it. It's killing me as well.
Right. All right. No.
Yes, I can. Please.
No, you see, Sanjeev.
We'll have a lot of dead people
Sanjeev,
on the panel.
what you say does have some merit. But what you say does have some merit, but please don't get carried away. You have just admitted that there were some people out there who were not there to report news, but to make news. And that is the problem in today's journalism, Sanjeev.
I have not admitted
when you are
anything.
selective.
I wasn't even there. I have not admitted. I have just given my interpretation. What are you saying?
Conceded.
As if I
will come to him.
I wanted an unsavory headline.
Your interpretation.
Why is it?
Now,
why are you pointing fingers
You're
at
just
me?
going through your synonyms. It's not admission.
As if I have let out some state secret.
All I'm saying is, don't you agree that the whole point of the press conference is not to trap someone, but to ask intelligent questions? I mean, if you really want to trap him, that's what people have been doing, Modi and Trump, for the last 6 years, isn't it? And Trump for the last 4 years. And he gets back at you by saying that you are fake news, you're fake news. And I think he told BBC once as well that you fake news. So, I mean, the point is not
now,
to,
now the question I want to go to Dr. Wael Awad. No. I want to go to Dr. Wael Awad and Sushant Sareen on this. And on the issue of a trap, which interestingly gave me an entry point on the debate itself, the question is, and we will analyze a couple of things out here, and I'll hand it over to you, Dr. Awad. Question is, A, you've reported on India for now decades. Was it a trap to cause violence in Delhi exactly around the 22nd, 23rd of February, and then ask Trump about the violence in a press briefing? Secondly, if there was a trap, who was setting the trap?
Well,
was it the media?
Going on
or was it the media with the instruction of third parties to defame India? Thirdly, was it a trap to cull out a news point, Dr. Awad, on anti-Muslim hate crimes when none exist so that India is embarrassed globally? The people are connecting the dots right now, Dr. Awad, and so are you, I'm sure.
Disconnected. When is the question for me? Hello?
Dr. Awad, you heard me? You heard me?
Your mans are...
Can you hear me? I think I have a problem with the link. I'll fix it. Okay, the line has dropped there. The line has dropped there. Sushant is on the debate. And you know what? At this moment, Sushant, everybody on social media and everywhere asking this question. Was it a trap to cause the violence and then ask Trump about it? Because if it was, I think, Sushant, we need a moment of honesty.
Of course.
From those who are behind it.
But Arnab, where is the doubt in that? The entire violence was orchestrated keeping in mind the travel plans of Donald Trump.
Yes, Arnab.
You look at the timelines of how things have planned out, it's very clear what the violence was all about. And it was done deliberately. But look, there are a couple of things out here. One, the violence which happened, I think the government also needs to take some blame for letting this damn Shaheen Bagh thing carry on for endlessly for the last 70 days. They should have cracked down and they should have cleaned it up. The courts need to take some responsibility for it, because when the matter went to the courts, rather than the wishy-washy response, the courts should have upheld the rule of law. The courts didn't do it. The cops didn't do anything. This is a wound which has been festering for so long, and this is where it was going to lead up to. So look, let's be very clear on this. Number two, but I think the whole plan flopped when the question was...
But why involve Trump in it? Exactly. No, why involve Trump in it?
Matter. I have no comments to make on that.
No, why involve? No, why? And as far as the Western media is concerned,
jump in.
No, Arnab.
Yeah, Dr. Awad, you can hear me now. Come into the debate, Dr. Awad. Yes, please.
Receive the kind of telescopic.
This thing. I have 2 points to make. Actually, very important point to make.
Global media's attention is on Delhi, and if Delhi blows up, of course this will happen.
Now, I think the most important point in this debate we should admire and admit that it was a major diplomatic win for India, that they were able to contain the American president not to speak on internal matters. I mean, whatever it is, the law and order is a state affairs and should not be for a foreign dignitary to speak about it. This is one. And I think the Indian MEA has briefed the American president and his delegation not to go into the details of the internal matter of India. Having said that, I wouldn't have taken also the blame to say that it is merely it is on the Delhi police or not. I have been observing the whole scenario in Delhi. We have been seeing it for the last 70 days, and I think this is a natural debate in India that something has to be, there are pro, there are anti, but when it comes to riots like this, it has to be the state responsibility. The President of the United States is none of his job that to speak of internal affairs of a country. So I think that was a major diplomatic gain for India on the matter of that they were able to bring a superpower into this country and get what they want from him. So therefore, we should give that credit to the Indian MEA. I feel this is what the maximum gain I can say India have won from this debate after all. There is no trap.
But at the end of the day, I mean, you also make the point, and I feel it's very interesting that I feel it's very interesting, Dr. Wael Awad, that you say that, but there are many Indian journalists who would want exactly the contrary. They, as Sanjeev sort of, I'm not slandering him, but I'm saying as he happened to observe here, that there was a group of people who wanted one anti-India statement from the visiting US president, because in a way I can understand it. The entire media, political, NGO complex, Dr. Awad, and I think Sanjeev should be a little honest with me on it, has been working overtime for that one sliver of attention that gives a completely different twist to the India situation in a global context. I mean, I'm sure you know, don't tell me, Sanjeev, or Saurabh, or anyone tonight, that these groups don't work together, whether it is the Guardian, New York Times, Washington Post. They cannot even, the Guardian, New York Times cannot even predict the result of a British election, leave alone the political situation in our country. No. Yes, Yadav.
There are not have asked about violence.
There is a lobby which is working to destabilize the country.
Manner, as they did today.
No, but Sanjeev, come on. You have covered many such events. How many times do you see the President of the United States coming and standing up with India like he has done today? And they have spoken about every issue like friends. And he was convinced with the Prime Minister's answer. That's what he said. He was completely convinced with what the Prime Minister told him. So isn't that something which you should be praising?
Saurabh, I completely agree with you. That's how I started my answer.
No, if you agree with me, then let me ask you, Sanjeev. Sanjeev, was it a trap to disregard? Was it a trap to disregard the significance of this standalone visit by a US president and the massive defense cooperation it has furthered, so that India is wrongfully labeled as a bigoted nation? Let me ask you clearly, Sanjeev. Ask yourself, was there not one entire lobby out there? All they want is the classification of their own country as a bigoted nation. Is there not a whole lobby that works only to the benefit of those people who want to classify our country as a bigoted nation? No. I am asking you today.
There may be a lobby.
And as far as the Western media is concerned,
what I am saying is that is it not a fact,
as far as the media standards are concerned,
and journalists who asked about questions about fully within the right to ask
no, that's not the issue.
It would have been completely.
As far as you see, I
cannot imagine a situation where the questions which journalists ask would not have been asked in the current context. And I completely agree with Saurabh and Awad that it's a huge diplomatic win by the Indian establishment.
But you've got it all wrong.
Who got such a
you have got it all wrong. This is all about. And you know what we need to understand here, Abhishek, everyone. This is all about Sanjeev.
You have to paint me wrong all the time to look correct yourself. I don't know whether you hear me also, whether you listen to me also. You are just so happy calling me wrong. If I am so wrong, why should you call me always?
Sanjeev, it's not about you. You talked about the trap. You talked about the trap. You're being self-righteous. But let me tell you, I asked you, why don't you take a question? Why don't you take a question? Why don't you take a question? A question for you. Don't protest. Don't whine. Take a question. Take a question. Take a question. Where was the BBC ever in the reporting? Where was? No. 1 second. I'm sorry, no, being a does not help. Listen, what reporting did the BBC ever do on Julian Assange? When he was victimized, when he was hounded, when he was forced to live in the Ecuadorian embassy, when there was not one word. What was the reporting from CNN on the Jeffrey Epstein case? It was a cold case till a Miami Herald reporter got the accusers to talk. Please understand. No, I'll tell you another thing. Please, the Jeffrey Epstein case, the case was cold. Nobody reported the story even once. They want to preach about journalism. The Harvey Weinstein case, no significant reporting. This media has not spoken about dictators. It has not spoken about political cannibals. It has not spoken about sexual predators. It has not spoken about whistleblowers. It has not spoken about Julian Assange. It has reported the Gulf War wrong. It has taken the wrong facts on WMD. It has consistently got its facts wrong. And what I'm saying tonight, Anand, is loud and clear. We will not listen to any garrulous, self-righteous justification of what's happening in India from these same Western media outlets. These Western media outlets, I'm so glad the BBC reporter was stone cold after. Don't you think, viewers, the BBC reporter was stone cold? The BBC reporter had nothing to say? The BBC reporter had eventually nothing to say. Wasn't there a wonderful moment, Anand, today? Wasn't it? He was stone cold. And Donald Trump had him for breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Despite his attempted provocation,
he was shocked.
He tried to compare CAA with the travel ban of the United States.
He was expecting abuse from Trump.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Trump's press conference.
Ladies and gentlemen, the slander plot has flopped.
It wasn't preachy.
We tonight.
It was to the point.
We tonight, at the end, I'll say this. We tonight pray for peace in Delhi. We pray for peace across our nation. We pray for peace so that this country comes together. We pray for our security forces. We pray for our policemen in the line of duty. We pray for the paramilitary personnel who are risking their lives to bring order in Delhi. We pray for peace. We pray for reason. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Good night and goodbye.